Click. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, folks, we are looking at exercise 3 again, but we're doing 2 new things today. So this is my GCSE students with me today, Asifullah, Abdullah, Eliza, Salia, and Naila. Okay, let's have a look at these questions now. In the question before, it said calculate the gradient. We've done that last week. So I'm just going to rub that out. Or should we just say, okay, right, let's take a pen. Okay. There we go. So we're going to calculate the midpoint now and the length of the line segment. So let's copy each question out individually and let's have a look at that. So let's have a look at question number 1. So copy, put it here, paste image here as well. I'm going to do the question twice. Okay. There we go. Okay, now, so last week we were working at the gradient. To work out the gradient, we were working at the difference in the y's divided by difference in the x's. Now, to work out the midpoint, we do the average instead. So let's have a look how we do that. So let me give myself a nice pen. Okay, let's do the midpoint side first. So let's just rearrange that, put that over here. That's better. So let's get a different color. So we have here our x1, y1. So x1 and y1 is our first pair of coordinates. Okay. Then we have x2 and y2. This is our second pair of coordinates. Let me just move this keyboard and mouse to somewhere else because the keyboard's in the wrong place. That's better. Let's pull the power out. Now, if you want to work at the middle of these 2 points, then we need to use the following formula. So we say that the x1 at the x2 divided by 2. And then we have the y1 at the y2 divide that by 2. And that will give us the midpoint. So what we're doing in effect is we're working at the average. Okay, so what I would like to do is, Eliza, please, can you unmute yourself and join me in this question, please? I'm going to color code it for you. So the x's are, we're going to leave them as green, as we did last time, something like that. And the y numbers, we're going to put them as orange. So I'm color coding for you over here. So where you see the y, you're going to use the orange values. When you see the green highlight, you use the green values. Okay, so let's get ourselves cracking with this question. So Eliza, to work at the midpoints of those 2 coordinates, we need to average the x values. So can you tell me which x, what are the x values and how do we do it now?
X values are 3 and 5.
Okay, does it matter in which order we add them?
You've got to do 5 first and then 3.
Okay, because it says x1 plus x2, because we're adding, it doesn't actually matter. You can do 5 plus 3. What you've just said is absolutely correct. You can do 5 plus 3, but in the way that we've labeled it, we would write it as 3 plus 5. But both ways are correct. The way I've written it and the way that you suggested, they are both mathematically correct. Okay, but when we say x1 plus x2, try to follow that system. So x1 is your first x value and x2 is the second one. So that's good. So you're going to add them in any order, it doesn't matter. Okay, now what about?
It would be 8, and then 8 divided by 2 is 4.
Okay, good. And what about the y1 and the y2, are they?
So it's 1 and 4.
And then?
Which equals 5.
Then you divide it by 2.
And then that would give you 2.1.
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
Okay, now, first of all, that was your answer that you gave me there. I want to quickly go through that because that's a common misunderstanding by students, and I want to quickly highlight that point. Thank you for that little error there, because that's something that a lot of students do in the exam, and I'm going to explain to the other students how you made that error. So let's go through that. So what you done was 5 divided by 2, which 2 goes into 5 how many times?
Twice.
And you had a remainder of?
1.
Okay, now remember this, your answer will never be 2.1. What you said here, I just want you to kind of understand yourself first. The remainder is never a point of an answer. The remainder has to be attached to the point 0, and then you have to work on it. So this is a common error. Just try to make sure, inshallah, you understand how we sort that out. So 2.1 will never be the answer to this question. Okay. Now let me explain to you how you're supposed to do it now. So let's get our rubber. Let's rub this out from here, and let's get a red pen now. So copy that out. So your remainder goes here. Okay. So how many 2s go into 10, Eliza?
5.
Okay. Now, do you see where my answer came from?
Yeah.
Okay. So the remainder 1 gets attached onto the point node part of the division, and then you carry on. Can't see what? Oh, that's because close the faces on the bottom. You don't need to see the faces, or move them to different sides of the screen. Okay, folks, just a quick note there. If the videos on your iPad or whatever you're using is covering part of the work, you can move them to a different part of the iPad or your screen, or even shut them off, if that helps. But don't allow the video to cover the work that I'm doing, because I can't have students keep on telling me to move the work up, because on my screen, whatever I can see, you should be seeing it. So that's just a little note. So please adjust where your videos are viewed, okay? So Jazz, okay, good. So the answer is 2.5, fantastic. Okay, I love the answer, that's done. Okay, now, was there any problem with that, Eliza? Was that hard?
No.
Nice and straightforward, lovely. Okay, so what we want to do before we move on to the question of the length of a line, let's practice some of these questions, and then I'm going to pause the video while you guys try them, and then we'll come back to them. So let me select some questions for you guys to do now. Okay, right, let's get our highlighter. So I think I've done the first one. Okay, so we can select question number 4 and question number 3. Okay, folks, there's 2 questions for you guys to do. I want you to look at those questions, copy those questions out if you haven't got a sheet there, and start to do those questions. Right, I'm gonna give you on the timer. I have a timer here. 2 minutes to do those questions. While you do those, I'm gonna pause it and have a go at it as well, inshallah. Go. Everybody have a go. If you have any problems with that, put your hand up. Don't open your video. Put your hand up or undo your microphone, and then inshallah you can speak to me and ask me for help. Okay. All right, let me just pause the screen. And let me just also pause this. Okay, folks, so here's the answers for the 2 questions I actually do earlier. We just back to recording now. Let's make them nice and big. So those were our 2 coordinates pairs. So when you do the x1, x2, you're going to add now. Okay, let's put pink. You're going to add the 3 and the 4 for the first bit. And that gives you 7 divided by 2, which gives you 3.5 for the x. Then you've got to add the y, which is 0 and 3. 0 and 3 is 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So that's the first one done. So you're literally just averaging the x and averaging the y's. And again, I can't emphasize the negative numbers, you being competent on the negative numbers enough. And this was an example. So -1 add 1 doesn't give you all different variations of answers. It gives you one answer, which is 0. So you've got to be very kind of spot on with your negative numbers. You don't want to be doing a topic and finding negative numbers holding you back for the understanding of that topic, because you're making mistakes and you're minusing, adding, multiplying, dividing negative numbers. So negative numbers is our first lesson, and we can see why that's the first lesson. You must go back to the exercise, practice it properly, and if you need help, there's the YouTube channel, Imran Iqbal One-to-One Tutor. You type in negative numbers, you've got a whole exercise of negative numbers there to help you understand it. But you must understand that first. So -1 add 1 is 0, divided by 2 is 0. And then we had 3 add 6 for the y coordinates. That gives you 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So I think, put your hands up, please, if you got those 2 values right. Okay, Salih got it right, Layla got it right, Abdullah, Asadullah. Okay, Liza, you got most of it right. It's got one coordinate, one bit wrong. So Marshall, you got 75% right. So that was good as well. But just be careful with your negative numbers. Okay, so that's good. So midpoints are nice and straightforward. Okay, here comes the next one. Now, so the same points in the exam, they can ask you to work out the length of the line segment. The length of the line segment basically means if you were to join the 2 points up together, how long is that line? Okay, so if we were to, for this one here, I think we might need to, whoops, shall I think we're getting stuck in this corner, it's getting too big. I think we should make it back smaller and we should copy it out. Okay, I'm putting a new page because I'm kind of getting a bit stuck with my copy. Okay, let's put a new page in. There'll be here. Add page. Okay. There we go. So we are going to paste. That's better. Okay, length of line segment. I don't know what that little blue line is. I think that I think I cut that out from the original image. So I'm going to give you now a little bit of a demonstration of what exactly we are talking about. So here's our X, here's our Y. So we need to go up to 5 at least. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So folks, do a quick sketch. Salia, sketch it, please. So the X values need to go at least to 5, and the Y values need to go to 5 as well, actually, 4 at least. 1, 2, 3, 4. So everybody please have a go at doing that little sketch. Don't make it too small. Make it nice and big on your page, not so big that it covers the whole page or covers the whole world, but make it so it can be understood. Now we're going to actually, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to try to help you visualize what we're doing by the length of the line segment. So I'm going to plot the points 3, 1. So 3, 1 means 3 along the X and 1 along the Y. So along the corridor by 3 and up the, so we're going to go along the corridor by 3 and then up by 1, so which takes us to here. Okay, the next one is 5, 4. So we're along the corridor by 5 and up by 4. So that will take us to approximately here. Okay, so I'm going to get a ruler. I'm going to use a ruler. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, let's do a nice little line. Join them up, please. Oops. So there's my 2 points being, okay. So that's 3, 1. And that one is 5, 4. Okay, now. Okay, so what they want us to do in the question, if I highlight it for you, they want us to work out the length of this highlighted line. So they're asking you, how long is it? What's the distance between this first point and the second point? Now, if you look at this particular, the way it looks now, well, now that we can visualize it, let's have Salia, you don't need to put your microphone on, your voice will come through here. So Salia, what kind of triangle does that look like?
Triangle.
Which triangle? Okay, now remember we've got this little bit in the corner.
Oh, right angle triangle.
A right angle triangle. So we have a right angle triangle. So if you have a right angle triangle, what type of maths can we use on a right angle triangle?
It's equivalent.
No, it's to do with, yeah. I'll give you a clue, an apple pie.
Pie type. I don't know.
Okay, Salia, I think her brains are a bit frazzled with the the lockdown. Let's get somebody, let's have Layla. Layla, unmute yourself, please. Okay, Layla, so in the diagram, we can see that we got a nice, lovely right angle triangle. If you got a right angle triangle, we want to work out the longest side. What type of maths are we talking about?
Do you have to do, is it like sine, cosine? No, it's not, is it?
Okay, say that again. What's the topic called where you work out the length, the longest side?
Trigonometry.
It's called?
Trigonometry.
Trigonometry, not trigonometry. It's a topic lower than trigonometry, but it's to do it's to do with that person. What's his name?
Pythagoras theorem.
Pythagoras theorem. Okay, that's fantastic. So, okay, hang on a second. Okay, we use Pythagoras theorem, correct? So let's write that down. So Pythagoras theorem. Okay. Now Pythagoras theorem, Layla, can you tell me what the Pythagoras theorem is?
Isn't it when you take the length of both sides and multiply them? Is it?
No. Pythagoras theorem, do you know the formula for what I mean by, do you know the formula for Pythagoras theorem?
I can't remember it.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else? Abdullah, you want to jump in, or maybe Asadullah? Asadullah, do you remember Pythagoras theorem?
Is it a squared plus b squared equals c squared?
Hoi, roll, bro. That's good stuff. I said again, a squared
Plus b squared equals c squared.
Okay, that's one version that they kind of teach in the books. Asadullah, sorry, Abdullah, can you jump in now? Thank you for that, Asadullah. Abdullah, so
Yes.
give me another version of the formula.
C squared minus A squared equals B squared.
No, what I mean by the other version is this one here. So the formula taught in different letters. It's exactly the same when you label it, but it's just taught in different ways. Okay, Layla, are you familiar with those formulas?
Yeah, I know it. I just can't remember.
Okay, which one have you learned at school?
We use a squared and b squared equals c squared in the first one.
Okay, that's good. Okay, what about you, Eliza? Which one are you familiar with? I'll use that one then.
I don't think I've done this at school yet.
Okay, that's not a problem. Oh, okay, Asad, Abdullah, can I use the first one then? A squared down. Shall I use that one?
Yep.
Okay, I'll use the first one because I think you guys are maybe more familiar there. That's not the one I normally use, but I don't mind. I use anyone, inshallah, that's no problem. Okay, so a squared equals b squared plus c squared. Now I'm gonna rub the bottom one off, or maybe move it out the way. Okay, no, that's not the right size. Okay, let's just rub it off. Right. So, Asadullah, mashallah, you gave me the formula. Can you come back, please, and explain to us which side is A, which side is B, and which side is C? Off you go, Asad. Okay, but the most important side in your labeling, Asad, should be the C. So tell me then, which of those sides is definitely has to be C?
Is it the top one?
Okay, when you say top one, we're talking about triangle. What do you mean by top one?
I forgot.
Okay, so you remember the formula, but you don't know how the formula works. Okay, right, let me explain to you the whole class how the formula works. The C part here, this is the most important part of the formula. This is over the hypotenuse. Okay, Asad, what is the hypotenuse? Which length is that?
Is it the long length?
Yeah, it's the longest side. And which is the longest side? It's the one they want us to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to label this now. So we just label it. So C. Now, the next question, A and B, Asad, can I put them anywhere I like, or is there any particular order for the A and B?
Anyway.
Correct. The A and B means the sum of the other two sides. And when you're adding numbers up, it doesn't matter whether you do one side first or the other side or the other way around. So you can label them in any order you like. So as long as you put C for the highlighted side and A and B for the other side, it doesn't matter. Now, how do I work out the height of B? What do I do? How do I work out this length here? Asad,
You do C minus A.
you do Y2 minus
Y1.
Y1. Y2 is over here and Y1 is over here. Okay, so Asad, how do I work out A, the length of the base?
X1. X2 minus X1.
Fantastic. So now what we're doing, and then we have to put those obviously back into the formula over here. So over here, look. So let's copy those down. So A is X2 minus X1, which is the length of the bottom squared. And B2, which is over here, is Y2 minus Y1 equals what we need to work out. So what we need to work out is the C. That's what we're trying to work out in this question. Okay, so we have to do now Pythagoras theorem on the coordinates because we've turned the coordinates into a little diagram. We've made a triangle. Triangles follow Pythagoras theorem. So to work out the length between the distance between the 2 points, we have to now work out the squared of the differences now. So before we were doing x1 add x2 divided by 2 for what we've just done, which was the midpoints, and but now we're doing them, we're minusing them and squaring them because we're treating it like a triangle question. So let's put some numbers in here now. Okay, so let's have so carry on. So what's my x2 value?
Your X2 value is 5.
Okay, let's have a look. The x2 value is 5. Yes, there it is there. 5 minus the x. What's the x1 value?
3.
3. Okay, what's my y2 value?
4.
4. What's my y1 value?
1.
1. Now remember, you got c squared. Do we want to also work out the length of the shape, the length of the? You want to work out the length squared, or you want to work out just the length?
Length squared.
You want to work out the length squared.
No, I mean normal length. Normal length.
Okay, so the length, yeah. So what do you think we should do with this squared here then? What do you think we should do with it?
Square root it.
Fantastic. Take it to the other side, become square root. So I need to square root all of this to work out c. So I can rub that off now from here because I've done it. So now when you do Pythagoras theorem, you have to always rearrange the square, take it to the other side to work out the length. So to work out the length between the 2 points, you work out the height, you work out the base, you square the height, you square the base, and you add them together and square root it. That's Pythagoras theorem in a nutshell. So now let's put this now. I don't know whether we'll need calculators for this. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so Asad, what's 5 take away 3?
2.
Okay, I don't want to rush that one. 2 squared, yeah. And what's 4 take away 1?
3. 3 squared.
Okay, so what's 2 squared?
4.
4 add
9.
4 add 9 is?
13.
Okay. So c is equal to the root of 13. Now, we can't leave that if they ask us to, but normally they will want us to work out a value to it. So if you want to work out a value to it, so we need to get our calculators. So I've got my calculator here. Does that have a calculator, Salia? Salia looks tired. Bichari. It's amazing when you put your children in less.
3.6.
Okay, so we need to do root 13. There we go.
3.6.
Root 13. Okay, and now on the calculator calculator, you need to press
SD.
SD button. So I've got here, let's drop that line off because we haven't finished. So I'm getting on my calculator this nice, lovely number here. I'm going to write it down as much as I can. That's not my final answer because I haven't finished yet. So, Asadullah, what do we do with that number? Is that number the answer, or do we do something with it first? Are you going to submit that as your answer, basically? Is that going to be what you give into the examiner as the answer?
No.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
Round it up to the nearest unit. 10.
So let's have a look. So we got the whole numbers. So I would say maximum round to 1 decimal place. So 1 decimal place, you round it off to 1 decimal place. Stop there. You look at the next number. So what's the final answer?
3.6.
Beautiful. Now, because we are doing, normally a length has a centimeter, meter, millimeter. Because we're doing it on a graph paper stroke grid, it's a coordinate. I think this is probably the only circumstance, if you left it without a unit, you'd be allowed to do that. Unless they tell you in the beginning of the question, you're on a centimeter grid. If they don't say that, you don't know how big the grid is, how many centimeters between each line. So this is probably the only time you'll be allowed not to put units in and be okay, because normally you need units and stuff. Okay, folks, we just finished that one question. That's the reason why I started on a fresh page. Right, are we all happy with that example? I'm going to do some more, so don't worry, I'm not going to stop here. Okay, put your hand up if you're happy with the example. Asadullah's happy, he was the one who done the example with me. He should be happy. Abdullah's happy, Eliza, Salia, Layla. Okay, right. Shall I do one more question? Put your hand up, put your hands down. I'll put it back up again. If you'd like me to do another question, or if you're feeling excited, you think, yes, we can do it. Okay, Eliza, would like me to do another question? Anybody else? Salia, you want me to do another question? Yeah.
No.
Okay, I'm going to do another question quickly, inshallah, and then I'm going to give you opportunity to do some questions by yourself. Let's have a look at the timer. Okay, 2 hours. So, yeah, okay. Let's do another quick example, inshallah. Right, oh, where's the example? The example is supposed to be 315, which we've done. Okay, all right. Okay, let's pick another example. Let's pick this question here. I don't know that you guys can't see it. Copy. Paste. Okay, I have a feeling I might need some more space. Add another page. Okay, let's get cracking on this question. So we have, I'm going to label X1 and Y1 and X2 and Y2. So when I do this question, folks, I'm not going to draw a graph now. The graph was for your purpose, for you to visualize what we're doing in the question. It's the visualization. Not that you've seen how it looks like on the graph. When you do the exam paper question, or you do a further question, you don't need to physically keep on drawing graphs and trying to look at the graphs. You just use the formula. So what was the formula? The formula is here. This is the formula, this part here. Let me highlight it in a different color. Let me highlight it in gray. This bit here is the bit that you need to be able to memorize and reuse again and again and again. That's the way we've done for the midpoint and the gradients and stuff. We have different variations of what we're doing with it. So this bit here needs to be reused. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be a bit, I don't know, shall I cut it out? Okay, no, I'm not going to cut it out because you got that. Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to actually get rid of this, and this for the moment, and then I'm going to copy it out. So then you can see me reusing it. That's good. Okay, let's move it up a bit. Okay, copy, paste. Okay, all right. There's our formula. And then go back over here. Sorry about that, folks. I'm going to refill. This goes over here and comes through it. Okay, lovely. Slow that down. Okay. So what we need to do x2 minus x1. So let's follow our instructions. So this is our formula. Here we are. So x2 is this one over here. Number 1. So we have 1 minus x1, which is over here. Negative numbers, folks. You can't escape them. And then we'll do the difference in the y values. So the y2 is over here. This is y2. And this is y1. So it'll be the 6 minus the 3. That's Pythagoras theorem for you. Pythag. Okay, are we all happy with what I've done so far? So here we're not drawing diagrams anymore. Diagrams of, for example, number one, Salia, don't use calculator. Use just mental maths. Okay, now let's have Layla, please jump in with me, please. This question, let's go.
1 minus minus 1 is just 2. You have to add it
Okay, so why does it become 2? Because the two minuses together, they transform
into a positive.
into a plus. Fantastic, lovely. So we have 1, add 1 now, which is 2 squared.
Yeah.
And then 6 minus 3 is
3, and then you just write 3 squared.
is equal to?
3 squared.
Okay, what do we want to work out? The value of
3 squared.
C. Remember,
Yeah, but
we
just-
don't want C, we want C. So opposite squaring is what?
Square root.
So if I want to work out the C, which is the length of the segment, it'll be the square root of 2 squared, add 3 squared. Okay. I don't know what we're doing earlier.
It's the same one. It'll be the same answer.
Are we doing the same question?
Yeah.
It's a different question, but the same answer.
Oh yeah, it's different question, but the same. Look at that. It's amazing. Okay, good. So we get, that was root 4. No, that was root 13. What do we get here? Same thing. Yeah, we get root 13 as well. That's right. Because we had them adding. That's lovely. So we can actually, we got 2 separate questions. We got exactly the same answer. That's absolutely correct. So root 13, and then we can steal the answer from above, which was 3.6. Yeah. Now, in the question that we've just done now, the significant thing isn't that we got the same answer. The significant thing was this part here, which Layla explained to us, which was the 2 minuses becoming plus. Yeah, so you can do coordinates, all different coordinates, and get the same line segment, because that's what they are. This is what. So that's what I need to see for your next question. I need to see the question being written out, your x1, y1, x2, y2 labeled up. The formula, this is the key. So you need to make sure that this part highlighted in orange is written down for each question, because that's your Pythag formula in the coordinate format for your particular question done. Okay, then you put your values in, you manipulate the minuses. Okay, you manipulate the minuses. After you manipulate the minuses, you work it all out and you use the calculator if you need to. So 3.621 dp, done. Okay, folks, now it's time for you guys to try some questions. And after you try some questions, we'll look at them together and then we'll go for our break, inshallah. Okay, let's find some questions for you guys. Hey, we have done 2 different questions and got some answers. That's amazing. Okay. Okay, let's choose another question for you guys. Okay, right. Let's rub this out. Let's put some new ones on for you. Number 7. Zero minus 2 minus 2. Yeah, that's good. Okay, folks, there's 2 questions for you guys to do now, and for that I'm going to give you a full 5 minutes because you need to write everything down, label everything, use all the formulas, use your calculator and everything else. So those 2 questions, 7 and 8, I'm going to put 5 minutes on the timer. 5 minutes starting from now. If you get stuck, you can just shout out. I'm just going to pause the video now because we don't need to record gaps recording. Okay, folks, so this is our answer for the 2 classwork questions. Please make sure that we start with the formula. So you start with at least this line over here. You label up your x1, y1. You put your numbers inside. You take care of the double negatives. For example, there. You multiply, you add and minus everything, square it, and you give us the answer to 1 decimal place for both questions. So again here, take care of the double negatives. Okay, so let's quickly get rid of those as well now. Yeah. That's better. Okay, so, and then we get those answers. So that is the level of working as required in your class and work on homework. So please, folks, don't start the question here and say, oh yeah, I got the answer here with nothing in between. That's not maths at all. That's just nonsense. So you need to make sure that what you see now in the lesson here, right in front of you on that page, is what you are you're presenting to me for homework, and what you're also doing for classwork right now. So what we're going to do, we're coming towards the end of our first hour. We're going to go for our normal break is 10 minutes, but I'm going to give you an extra 5 minutes break, and I will compensate you by finishing the lesson 5 minutes later. So 10 minutes is the normal standard break for our lesson, and 5 minutes extra for myself, which I will compensate you for. So inshallah, okay, I'm going to pause it. So when you do a line segment, when you do a length, you normally have a unit, but because we are doing it from, should it be like a graph grid, and they haven't given you coordinates, they haven't given you like measurements on there. So we're allowed to have 3.6 standing there by itself. So that was the second question. We had a bit of negative numbers in there. Again, you got to be careful. You got to take care to make sure that you, whenever you have the double negatives over here, that you are looking after them. Okay. Then we're square rooting them. We've done 2 more examples that you've done, and have you kind of done it together, checked it, that's all done. Alhamdulillah. Okay, next. Okay, the next part is okay, okay, folks, quick question. Would you like me to do this as a separate video so you can find it separately, or do you want me to carry on with the same video? At the moment, the first 2 topics have been done together. This next topic here, would you like me to separate the videos and make it as a separate one? Put your,
A good question.
go on.
For exercise 3, do we have to work out both midpoint and line of sigma?
Absolutely, mister.
Okay.
That's exactly what we've just done today. That's what we need to do for homework. Okay, folks, shall I carry on the same video on the equation of a straight line? Quick question, come on, folks. Put your hand up next to your name if you want me to carry on the same video, one video, all these 3 topics, or do you want me to split it up into separate video? So Asadullah is happy. Layla, Eliza, Abdullah. Okay. Right, okay, then no problem. We can make a new video for this one because it is quite different compared to the other ones. So we can stop our video and then we start a new one, and it will actually save as 2 separate files.